Yo guys, what's going on? Wanted to release maybe like 10 minutes tonight. I don't know if I'm even going to get there. Been an exciting night. That Duke North Carolina game was unbelievable. College basketball is right around the corner for us all. But I'm going to talk about some football right now. And the New York Giants. Just going to say this right here. I don't really have any second thoughts about the Odell Beckham video. I mean, the first video was not really my personality. It was very, very loud, borderline obnoxious video for sure. It was entertaining. If Odell watched it, he'd probably be upset. But the Giants, like Mike Francesa said, they're absolutely back. And it's our fault. It's Tom Coughlin's. It's Victor Cruz. It's Eli's fault. That when Odell Beckham was arguing with Josh Norman, we should have said, Odell, stop putting up with this bullshit of just, him going after the cornerbacks. Odell Beckham, should have been suspended for at least 2 to 3 games. And if Odell continued to pout, you just simply release the guy or cut him or trade him. He should have been gone a long time ago. And his antics should have been not tolerated. Just because other organizations have Antonio Browns, and just because the Steelers are a complete mess in terms of how they handle their shit, it doesn't mean that the Giants should succumb. And I'm tired of this excuse that, millennial athletes on social media, the athletes have changed. You still got to be a disciplined football team. And the Giants were not disciplined at all. Their offense fucking sucked for 5 years. I don't know what you guys can obviously blame Eli Manning. You could look at number 10. You could look at his right arm and just blame and just throw all your insults onto his right arm. But clearly, Jerry Reese drafted shit offensive linemen. The New York Giants sucked for a really long time. Whenever they're on national television, their offense just blows. Horrible 3-and-out after 3-and-outs. It's been horrible watching this football team play football against competitive teams. It's real shit. I just want the Giants to be able to get first downs. I just want them to move the ball at a reasonable rate. That's really all I want, and it's not asking too much. The New York Giants next year, they play Arizona, they play the Detroit Lions, they play Lions on the road. At home, they're going to be playing Vikings and Packers. I want them to beat the Vikings. Chicago away is probably going to be a loss. In the AFC East, they're able to play. The Jets is able to be an away game, which is great. The Bills are home. The Dolphins are at home. Better win those 2 games. And then overall, the Redskins should be a sweep. I think the Redskins are an absolute mess. So the Giants, right there, I just pointed out that you could win. I think the Giants can win 8 to 10 games. I want the Giants to win 10 games. The Golden Tate signing is great. I'm really happy that Golden Tate and Peppers are Michigan guys. Golden Tate's an Notre Dame Irish guy. But he grew up a Giants fan, which is really cool to see. I know Dwayne Haskins is a Giants fan. I know that. But it's nice that he's a Giants fan. And Golden Tate, and now you are going to add Marquise Golden for 1 year. This guy's an okay linebacker. But the Golden Tate signing is really good because now you're going to have Shepard, Corey Coleman, and Tate, Evan Ingram, and Rhett Ellison on the offense. You're going to have guys that can catch the football. The number 1 receiver is going to be drafted likely in the 3rd round or the 2nd round of the draft. My man Cop Pizzle today, I spoke to Cop. I try to speak to Cop as much as I can. I love his content. He brought up a great point about the cornerbacks and about Janoris Jenkins. I'll give him credit for that. So it's looking like Janoris is going to be gone next year, so why not use a first-round pick on DeAndre Baker or on Mullins from Clemson with the 17th pick? That could very well be the case. Number 6 could be an offensive lineman, or you could package all those picks for a Kyler Murray, and Murray is going to be absolutely outstanding for the New York Giants, at least for about 5 years. So I look at the way that the Giants are building this thing, and clearly the Giants have been really, really undisciplined for a while. The New York Giants have let Odell Beckham pretty much run their franchise with all of his antics, the kicking net, the leaving before the halftime, the publicly insulting the head coach. And now news is coming out from a lot of people, including Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer deserves a lot of credit for breaking the Odell Beckham news. Jay Glazer said that Shermer and Gettleman wanted to get rid of this guy mid-season. The owners didn't want to because the owners spent money to bring this guy back. And also the owners are bringing in a lot of money from Odell Beckham Jr., his jersey sales, and obviously from the outpour of disgust from Giants fans in the mainstream media that don't really watch Giants games. And the mainstream media tries to tear us apart, you know. The Fox Sports guys, the guys at Bleacher Report, I really disagree strongly with their opinions. Like Adam Lefkoe is a very nice guy and one of the best podcasters, so I like his work. I couldn't disagree with him more. He says that the Giants should fire Dave Gettleman and should cut Eli Manning. I disagree with both of those points. You know, pretty much so many people like TJ Houshmandzadeh, Marcellus Wiley, these guys are all really talented guys. But, you know, Colin Cowherd, I believe, is insulting Eli Manning. And these are all talented guys, but it's just everywhere. You know, Bill Barnwell, The Ringer, every single news outlet is insulting Dave Gettleman for this decision to get rid of such a talented wide receiver. But the Giants haven't done dick offensively in about 5 years. They've sucked offensively. There's so many games like the Dallas game last year, the New Orleans Saints game, the Eagles game at home, the Redskins game where their offense fucking sucks. It's lifeless as all hell, and Eli's look terrible, and this offense hasn't shown any heart. So it's up to Shermer to get this team to a heartbeat level where those games are few and far between, and the Giants can freaking move the ball, score in the red zone for once. And I want the Giants to score in the red zone, and let's average a reasonable 20 to 25 points per week. And let's win some of these games. Let's play some defense, and let's grind out some W's. I'm really excited that the New York Giants and Pat Shermer, you know, because even Tom Coughlin and Victor Cruz, those two guys are legendary New York Giants. Victor Cruz is a hero in the state of New Jersey and always will be a hero to the New York Giants and to myself. A childhood hero is Victor Cruz. But that boat trip, he should have basically told Odell Beckham that he should have told Odell that some of the stuff he was pulling are not okay. And Tom Coughlin the same. And the Mara family, you cannot allow like one player like an Odell Beckham. You cannot allow guys like, I know DRC got suspended. It got really ugly in the end of the McAdoo tenure with Janoris Jenkins and DRC, and basically the Giants would quit on their coach and on these games. It's up to owners, it's up to Dave Gettleman and Pat Shermer to pretty much not allow that bullshit to manifest at all. And it's up as us to fans. I got to do a better job of being stricter on the New York Giants so that this whole freaking disaster doesn't happen. I'm going to stop giving this team a lot of leeways. I'm going to be a lot harsher on this team if there's really going to be a lot of bullshit going on. If there's going to be antics that are going on, I'm just going to call out the players. I'm going to call out the bullshit when I see it. And basically I'm going to not hold back. And when Mike Francesa said that the New York Giants trading Odell Beckham was a welcome back, was pretty much the Giants saying welcome back, because the Giants have always been a very rigid organization, and that's why they've been successful. That's why the defenses have been tremendous. That's why the offensive lines have been very consistent. Never have had a flashy quarterback. That's why Daniel Jones fits the Giants mold, because he's barely on social media. He's quiet personality. Kyler Murray is a pro-style quarterback with an ability to be mobile, but Kyler Murray's the best thrower in this class. He's a much better thrower than Haskins and Josh Rosen. And Haskins is way on social media, way too much. He's saying, like, don't let me get back to the crib, you know, like, I'm going to bring the Giants back. You know, he loves, like, Odell Beckham and that type of excitement and that type of off-the-field pizzazz. That's not what the Giants need to stay out of headlines as much as humanly possible. They have to bring in guys that really just love playing the game and don't like all the other bullshit that comes with the football. That don't love all the money, don't love all the getting girls, don't love all the stuff outside of football, because we need to keep things very, very quiet. I want all our New York Giants games. The exciting part about getting rid of Beckham as well is that the New York Giants games are going to now be at 1 o'clock. And our schedule can hopefully be really easy, where we're not playing our primetime games against really good opponents. So I want our schedule to be really dry, super boring, 1 o'clock games on Sunday, so that our guys can get used to resting at the appropriate hours, and that our games are just buried with all the other football games. We're not in the prime time. I don't want Eli being talked about by anybody. I'm really annoyed about people talking about Eli. I'm sick of it. Eli's a really good quarterback. He won a couple of Super Bowls. Nobody that is saying to keep Eli Manning, rarely anybody that's defending Eli Manning being a Giant, nobody's saying he's an unbelievable quarterback, but I still think Eli Manning is going to function well next season. Eli has decent arm strength. He's 38 years old. Luckily, knock on wood, he hasn't taken that big of hits. This offensive line is going to protect for him better with now Zeitler coming in, with Jalapeno and Spencer Pulley coming back, and with Nate Solder and Will Hernandez playing together for a full season. Now Saquon Barkley will be the guy. Will allow Saquon to take over the headlines. Saquon is very, very humble. He doesn't like attention. He reflects. Whenever you give praise to Saquon, he always gives praise to his teammates as a whole. He's such a team guy. And that's what I love. Golden Tate is an experienced receiver that is a team guy. Golden Tate has been a representative for the Lions for a very long time, and Golden Tate is a tremendous leader. And Golden Tate, even though he might not be the fastest guy in the world, Golden Tate is going to work well within our offense, and he's a first-class guy that is beloved by teammates, and that gets me excited. Marquise Golden and Antoine Bethea are good leaders from the Cardinals that are going to be coming in and helping us. I'm telling you, this Giants team, even though it might not look flashy on paper, this Giants team is going to be really competitive, and we're going to find ways to win. I mean, last year we lost a lot of close games. The Dallas game at the end, the Carolina game at the end. The Atlanta Falcons game was a really tough game for us. The Eagles' second half was a disaster at the Lincoln Financial Field. A lot of these games, and also the Cowboys game, the Giants were in that game. They just couldn't get any offense going in Jerry World. The defense played pretty dang well. So they need to string together complementary football. They need to play complementary ball. They need to prevent big plays. And I think our safeties now with Peppers and Bethea, I think we're going to be smart, and I think we're going to be better. Listen, B.W. Webb is a Cincinnati Bengal. So now, we have Janoris and Sam Beal. Sam Beal's going to be on our team now, and he's going to be playing a big role. We're going to draft another cornerback for sure in this draft. We're going to draft a right tackle very, very high. We're going to draft a pass rusher and some linebacker help. Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe like a Devin White at number 6. Maybe a Sweat. Maybe a Gary. Maybe a Burns at number 6. So overall, things are looking great. We're either going to have Kyler Murray, or we're going to have a very, very solid team with solid pieces. We're going to add in a tackle. We're going to look for a cornerback. We're going to look for another wide receiver. And overall, I'm just so happy that we're just more disciplined as a football team. Odell Beckham was a guy that was so confident, and by him doing that interview with Josina Anderson, it showed that Odell thought that he was bigger than the New York Giants. Everybody gave him a pass, said that he had the right to kind of act in terrible body language because Eli sucks so bad. When you have a coworker that is struggling, I don't think it's a good idea to just basically throw up your hands and say, you know what, well, this coworker sucks and this product's going to suck, and I hate being here, and this coworker needs to leave. That's not the way to deal with a coworker. The way to deal with a coworker, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, it's not the word of absolute truths, but the way to work with other people is you see a coworker that's struggling, why don't you go to the coworker and try to help them out? You know, why don't you go to Eli Manning? Why don't you try to accompany Eli Manning when he's struggling? And I don't think Odell did that. I think Odell was out on the island a lot. You know, Odell, the kicking net, throwing helmets on the sideline, just horrible sideline antics by not only Odell, but the entire football team. And it rubbed off, and it was just an undisciplined, shitty football team. Ben McAdoo didn't care about discipline at all. He didn't care about the boat trip at all. Tom Coughlin was horrible in his last season. He already was looking to get out. Victor Cruz, Eli Manning did a horrendous job of keeping the culture. There is no offensive linemen that were being accountable. And it's time for this culture to overtake it. It's time to have a player-led culture instead of a coach-led culture. You know, you listen to every college coach and they say, really bad teams have nobody lead. Really mediocre teams have coaches lead. And really good teams are player-led. And I want this to be a player-led team. I want Buffet to have his fingerprints all over this team. I want Golden Tate to take over this offense. I want Saquon to take over this offense. I want Zeitler and Will Hernandez and Nate Solder to absolutely take over this organization, keep players accountable, hold players accountable for their actions. Let's talk a little bit about Tannehill to the Titans now. This is a decent move for Tennessee. I know you give up a 4th rounder, but Marcus Mariota misses so many games. It sucked that he had to miss the last game of the season last year. You know, Marcus Mariota, I would not give him big money. As much as I love Marcus Mariota as a person, as much as I think he's a really good football player in terms of how he can get rid of the ball quickly, in terms of his mobility and his competitiveness, you know, that Kansas City game was all grit from Mariota. And Mariota is a respected leader on this team. Ask Taylor Lewan how much he loves Mariota. I mean, that last game of the season, it sucked again not to be out there on the field. But John Robinson's a pretty intense guy. You know, the Titans are bringing in Adam Humphries, Cameron Wake, like all these older guys. They clearly think that they are close to accomplishing something big. Now the Titans are probably going to bring back Quentin Spain. Josh Klein just got released. Ben Jones has one more year left on his contract. But the Tennessee Titans, I think they're going to be decent next year. It's going to be tough to beat the Colts in this division. Overall, though, Mariota is now going to be pushed by Ryan Tannehill, and I don't think it's a terrible, terrible decision to sign Ryan Tannehill. So Tannehill was signed. Now, again, the last part of this video is that Tyreek Hill, there was an incident at his house. It's being reported on that there was children involved. Children were hurt, and it's unclear who hurt the children. It could be neighbors, it could be somebody in his family, it could be himself. So we don't know. Tyreek Hill has had a history. He has been convicted in college for beating up his girlfriend, a pregnant girlfriend at Oklahoma State. So clearly a lot of people are rushing to judgment. Just because you've done one thing doesn't mean that the other thing is guaranteed to have happened. So it'll be very important to monitor. On the field, the guy is incredible, one of the best receivers in all football. John Dorsey drafted Tyreek Hill. He drafted Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt didn't work out. Tyreek Hill now, Brett Veach might have to release him because this could be brutal. But again, it's just allegations right now. But again, it's important to note that it happened at his house and that Schefter and the Kansas City newspapers are all in on this news, so we are gathering facts about that matter. I like what the New York Giants are doing. I previewed San Francisco. I also have a show out with Al Zafiri, Big Al, and we are doing a show here in Philadelphia. It's pretty damn good. I want to thank Al a lot for stopping by. I think the show is pretty decent. Sorry to come across as if I thought the show was great. I did think it was a good product that we put out. It's going to be a call-in show. It's going to be an exciting show for you guys. So free agency has been a lot of fun. I liked interacting with a lot of you guys, and I liked putting up this video tonight. So thank you guys for tuning into the dang show. Enjoy college basketball over the weekend and everything, and we'll try to talk to you all soon.